Crystal Palace have now been in Premier League football for 10 seasons but have never won a major trophy. Now star player Wilfried Zaha has also left the club and it's perfect timing to rebuild Crystal Palace. They've got Roy Hodgson in charge with a short-term manager. It's going to be my job to take Palace to the next level, give them their first ever major trophy. You never know, maybe even a spot in Europe. Palace also had a rather quiet window this summer. Just Dean Henderson coming in as a goalkeeper from Manchester United, a very decent signing. You can tell I'm a Man United fan from behind me. Dean Henderson is a very good keeper but burned all of his bridges at United and obviously hasn't quite got sort of his career going. He had a decent loan spell a few years ago with Forest, went back to him last season, got a massive injury. They had to bring in Keylor Navas and since then his stock has fallen a little bit, but I imagine he'll be the number one goalkeeper ahead of Sam Johnstone. It'll be interesting to see if FM sees it that way as well. They've also signed a wonder kid Brazilian who I seem to sign a hell of a lot, Mateus Franco. This guy can play in centre mid, in cam, and also we're going to train him to play in DM as well, and you'll see why in just a moment. But a very good player, Mateus Franco, 20 years of age, Brazilian wonder kid, normally turns out very, very good. And I believe that is it for transfers, apart from Rob Holding. And you forgot the main man himself, Rob Holding, the miraculous hair recovery king himself, is here at Crystal Palace and looks very, very good as well. So it's hopefully going to be pretty decent for us in this team. You can see the formation we're using is a set formation which I was sent a few months ago now by Zinclo on the channel, and I edited it very, very slightly. It's a 4-2-3-1 with 2 DMs. We're going to go through it fairly quickly. I'm not going to go through the instructions. If you want to see them, pause the screen and you can see them. Sam Johnston's in goal. We've got Joel Ward at right back, full back on support. Same as Tyrick Mitchell. They're eventually going to move to wing backs next season, so we're going to keep it nice and defensive season 1 and then eventually go further up. Mark Gahey and Joachim Andersen is a very defensive but very solid defensive pairing as well. Jefferson Lerma and Jake Doucouré is a fantastic midfield pairing. Sheikh Doucouré is brilliant. Mikel Elise on the right wing is going to be tough to keep hold of him, but we will for as long as possible. Odson Edouard on the left wing and Ebere Eze. Now this guy is the mainstay in our team. He is an absolutely fantastic central attack midfielder and hopefully is going to stay here for a long time as well. And up front is Jean-Philippe Mateta as well. Backups wise, looking at Dean Henderson, Rob Holding, Jeffrey Schlupp, Jordan Ayew, Chris Richards. It's a fantastic American right back. This guy can play centre back and right back. Looks absolutely fantastic. 24 years of age, is hopefully again going to be quite a mainstay in this team over the next few years and grow into an unbelievable player. I believe this guy's a brand new signing as well. Ahmada in midfield looks very, very good. Signed from VfB Stuttgart, 22 years of age. Looks fairly decent. Some good all-rounded stats. James Tompkins, Jerry Rodveld, Nathan Ferguson, Kay Phillips, and then yeah, obviously Mateus Franca as well to train to this DM role. So he's not only going to get game time behind Eze in cam, but also in DM. The club here at Palace is fairly well set up. 13 training facilities, 17 youth facilities, 15 junior coaching and 15 youth recruitment. It is decent enough. Board are predicting us, well, the media are predicting us to come 15th. We're going to look to finish in the top half. Finances wise, things are okay here, just £15 million in the bank. But third season, obviously we're not going to do anything. Transfers have been done in real life, and as we know, Crystal Palace have got off to an okay start. Not the best, so it's going to be a good one to rebuild. Let's see if we can get top half football vote for season number 1. Let's get right into it. Let's not even mess about. Season 1, Crystal Palace. Let's go. And for season 1, we finished exactly where I expected. 10th position, 4 goal difference, 50 points. Decent enough season. Mateta had an unbelievable season with 35 goals, and Michael Elise with 17 assists as well was incredibly impressive. But this is exactly sort of what I expected. Season 1 is always quite a quick one in terms of these videos because I'm not going to do anything. I'm not setting transfers. I'm using a pretty bog standard formation. Not going to go too wild. Mateta was unbelievable. Scored pretty much all of our goals, 39 goals and 3 assists in that advanced forward role. It's titled as a realistic rebuild. I suppose Mateta getting 39 goals and 42 isn't the most realistic thing, but I can't help what he does in the simulation. He's a consistent player and he loves a big match, so he's probably going to stay for quite a while because I like him a lot, and especially if he scores that many goals. And Michael Elise had a fantastic season as well, a 7.23 average rating. He's wanted by Chelsea, Leicester, Watford, Juventus and Real Madrid. So we'll see if we can keep hold of him. It's going to be tough. He's linked to Chelsea in real life, so it'll be quite, I suppose, quite nice in a way if he does go there, because it's probably not realistic for him to stay around for too long, and he's the only player as well who has got this tag of wants to move to a stronger squad. So pretty quite realistic if this summer he does end up moving on. And again, I can show you it is literally him, Ferguson, Schlupp and Tompkins that are a little bit unhappy. Elise being the one that I care about. I'd get about 50 quid for them three put together. So we'll see if we can keep hold of Elise, but if not, it's not the end of the world. It's a bit realistic if that does happen. Iberi has 8 goals and 10 assists in that cam role as well. Fantastic. Sheikh Decore, 6.88. Tyrick Mitchell's a fantastic young left back who I've got big hopes for this save. 6.78. Not the greatest the first seasons, but 4 assists. And Mark Gurhey starting to make appearances for England now as well. Absolute legend. Very, very good player. He's got some broken ribs, so his bravery's gone down a tad. But Mark Gurhey is going to be someone that stays around for a long, long time. Mateus Franca played 22 games, including games of the bench, and Akmada 32. So the Wonder Kids are getting a little bit of game time, which is good to see. And in terms of other players as well, we have got some decent under-21s. Not good enough for the first team, maybe. A couple of 2-stars with Arademola and Malcolm Ebiwewe, who is actually a very good player. He had absolutely ripped it up at Derby. He looked very, very good, and Palace snapped him up for fairly cheap fees. So we'll see if Ebiwewe can come much. And in terms of this first sort of bit of under-18s coming through, not a lot. Wasn't a fantastic season for us in terms of developing players. And in the data hub, very standard again. 1.63 goals per game, conceding 1.53. To be expected as a mid-table club. Very boring first season. Stay around because it's going to get wild. And as usual as well, I'm going to be signing some Wonder Kids for you guys. If you do pick this up on Patreon, which is the top link of the description, you get this rebuild file at the end of it for season number 5. So if you are interested in picking up at the end of this, link in the Patreon down below. It's £5 a month and it helps make my dreams come true. So let's get right into it. Season number 1, transfers. Let's see what we can bring in for season 2's transfers. Right, well, the board gave us around 60 million quid to go and spend, which is a nice hefty sum on Football Manager. And we added £40 million to that as well by letting Michael Elise go to Chelsea for £38 million. I mentioned this was very much likely going to happen, and it has. Obviously, I've done this save already. I sort of hinted to it and alluded to it a little bit too much, but Elise has gone to Chelsea, £38 million, a realistic move, and I think it's probably quite a good thing we've let go of one of Eze and Elise, because that is most likely going to happen in real life as well. But we've now got £100 million to go and spend. We're going to go ahead and spend £63 million, and the first man is experienced central midfielder Corentin Tolisso. Now, as a realistic signing, I think this is quite a good one. £14 million from Olympic Lyon after a very good season, been at massive clubs his whole career, but never been tested in the Premier League until now. 16 aggression, 16 long shots, 16 work rate, 16 off the ball means he fits in very nicely as a segundo volante on support or as a deep line playmaker on defend as well. He can do both roles very well. Extremely consistent player, enjoys big matches, and is going to be a fantastic player for us over the next few years. Speaking of fantastic players, how this guy has not got a move in real life baffles me more than much else. Jonathan David, what a player, and signing for just £23 million as well. Big Canadian, 5'11", 16 acceleration, 15 pace, decent determination, great finishing, dribbling, first touch, off the ball, runs for the ball with the centre as well. Consistent, loves a big match, and I am gobsmacked he has not moved from Lille. I thought this summer was a summer he was going to go, but it didn't end up happening, and Jonathan David has now moved to Crystal Palace in the Premier League. He's going to be a left wing, right wing, cam, striker. He can do it all. And I'm very happy to have Big Johnny David here at Palace. And he's not the only Wonder Kid we're going to sign from France, if you can call him a Wonder Kid at 25 years of age. This one is Hugo Ekitike, who I believe was linked to Crystal Palace a little bit, linked to Brentford a little bit this summer. Now was signed for Palace, and at just £8 million from PSG, this guy needs to develop quite a little bit. I completely understand that in real life. He had an unbelievable season at Reims in 2022 before PSG picked him up, and he looks really good, very well rounded, decent enough pace. He's a big old lad as well at 6'3", 6'4", so hopefully he's going to be an absolute demon for us. He can play off the left, off the right, up front, very much like Palace do in real life. A lot of free roaming players in that front four, and Hugo Ekitike is going to be the man for the future as well. So him and Jonathan David, 2 from France. We're going to go ahead now and get one from Spain and one from Las Palmas. And that's Alberto Moliero. This guy looks absolutely brilliant, fantastic dribbling, first touch, great determination, great pace and passing, great technique, great vision, tries killer balls often, likes to beat his opponent, runs down with the ball down the left hand side, and he looks very, very good. Just a pick up of £8 million as well. a Spanish Cuban with 39 21 caps, 169 centimetres. So he's a little tricky winger who's going to replace Michel Elise, which I think is quite a nice thing to have him and Jonathan David on the wings. The next signing up is the one we're not actually going to see too much. His name's Fabiano, 1.5 million from Botafogo. We couldn't get him a work permit and he never really developed into too much either. So ignore Fabiano. He's on the list, but he was pretty useless for us. And then I did say I liked Tyrick Mitchell a hell of a lot, so I did want to go and get a good young attacking left back. Instead I went for a bit of experience, and that man is Ben Davies, £7 million from Spurs. Great bravery, great defensive stats, is more of a defensive fullback, can also fill in at centre back. He's extremely consistent. He's a big Welsh international with 85 caps, and is going to be a very, very key player for us this season because he can fill in pretty much everywhere, which is very, very helpful. And a free transfer signing of Facundo Pellistri. Now, this guy is not going to get released in real life. He looks fantastic, and as a United fan, I'm a huge fan of little Facundo, so to pick him up on a free contract was a little bit of a no-brainer. He's going to be a decent enough backup winger for us. He's really not as good on FM as he is in real life, so I'm not too upset about making it, as it is still meant to be a realistic rebuild. He is certainly a very good player in real life. On FM, not quite good at all. And the last signing we're going to go ahead and make to make it £65 million is Marcel Ratnik. Now, this is a signing from Olympia, I believe, in Slovenia. 13 heading, 14 marking, and 13 tackling. Decent enough pace, consistent player, 21 years of age, already 3 caps for Slovenia as well. And he's got some big old ears on him. Ratnik is going to be a very, very good defensive centre-back. Has a good cover, 21 years of age, looks absolutely fantastic. And tactics-wise, we are looking like so. Henderson in goal, Chris Richards at right-back, Mitchell at left-back, Gurhey and Anderson at centre-back, Tolisso and Decore in midfield, David on the right, Moliero on the left, Eze and Cam, and Mateta up top. A very good team. I'm not expecting too much of an improvement this season. We've brought in a lot of young players. I'm expecting probably 10th, 9th, 8th, maybe Europa League football or Conference League football would be good to sneak into as well. But in terms of money, we've spent it all. Backups wise, we're looking very good as well with Johnston, Ferguson, Holding, Ratnik, Ben Davies, Akmada and Lerma as the backups. Pellistri is backup right winger, Franca as the backup cam, but again, training him to be the backup CDM as well. Edouard Ekatike, and then we've got Matthews, Klein, Hughes and Ayew as well. A few lads going out on loan this season with Adam Ramola and Malcolm Eberwowe, see if they can break in to them teams in the Championship and in League One. But let's get into it. Season number 2. Can we make many strides, or is it going to be pretty much same old, same old? Well, yes, very much same old, same old. 9th place for Palace, 54 points, a +1 goal difference. FA Cup, we were 5th rounded by Newcastle, and Carabao Cup 3rd round by Leeds. But I am not worried by this in the slightest. Like I said, sold quite a few big players in Michael Elise and brought in quite a lot of wonder kids to come through. And if we look at Crystal Palace as well in terms of their history, this is classic Palace. Between 11th, 14th, this is where they come, and this is their best finish in the Premier League ever, I believe, since they're coming back in the Premier League. So pretty good to be back in the big time, and the best finish of their history is pretty good, sort of, I guess. 9th place is okay. I'm not going to big it up too much. Data hub wise, exactly as expected, mid-table club, exactly on the goals per game, just a tiny bit better on the goals conceded per game as well. And in terms of big game players, Mateta again, 27 goals. Eze this time with 13 goals and 5 assists. Must have got a little bit of an injury as well because didn't play as many games. Odsonne Edouard, 10 goals and 5 assists. Hugo Ekitike with 5 and 6. Jonathan David with 5 goals but 13 assists. That wing is really nice. And Alberto Moliero with 2 goals and 5 assists as well. So the brand new signings doing quite well. Sheikh Decore as well with 7 assists is pretty wild. But this season I'm going to step up the formation slightly. I'm going to use more aggressive wing backs and see if that can make a bit of a change, because I think that's probably where we're getting a bit stuck. We are quite defensive, and now I think we've got a good enough side to go ahead and take this one step further. In terms of money, the board have given us just £26 million. So there's not a lot we can go ahead and really do. There's some very good players here. I mean, Chris Richards is very good. Goalkeeper wise is probably one to go ahead and sort out. It looks like Sam Johnston has actually played both seasons as our goalkeeper. He definitely has. This season was a bit of a better season for him, but Dean Henderson is not being picked over Sam Johnston, so it is time to go ahead and get a number 1 goalkeeper. Chris Richards, Jackie Madison, Gurhey and Mitchell, very good at the back. I'm a big fan of that back four, so I'm not going to touch that too much. I'm really going to get a nice younger CDM as well. Sheikh Decore, Tolisso, Akmada and Lerma. Maybe one to replace Lerma as a bit more of a rotation for Tolisso. Jonathan David, Eze, Moliero and Mateta as well is very, very strong. I think it's just a case case of pushing to that next level. Backups, Palestri only 8 games off the bench. Franca, decent in cam, 15 games off the bench, 4 starts. Edouard off the bench, very good, and same for Ed Kike. So we're certainly getting there as a club. In terms of the development centre as well, there's Fabiano, who we cannot get a work permit for and never goes out on loan anywhere because he refuses to join anywhere. And in terms of the Wonder Kids, we've got a few coming through now at 4.5 star, 5 star, but none that are really catching my eye. Dwayne Atkins looks fairly mid. Charlie O'Connor looks decent, 16 determination, decent enough defensively, but again, not fantastic. Got some great value on him. Nico Asani is a fairly mid centre back, again, not looking fantastic. And Alex Proctor as number 1. I think says it all. Again, fairly mid. Probably never going to really get anywhere with any of them Wonder Kids. So we'll see if they can develop, but I'm not putting too much hope on them. The board haven't improved the training facilities by 1. I believe that was 13. I remember asking for it a hell of a lot. So we'll see. A very, again, quick season 1 and 2, but now we can sort of get into it. Season 3, developing the formation a little bit more, signing some more very good players, and then by now our players are becoming attuned to the Premier League, better on the game as well. So let's see, season 3, what talents can we make to make us the next step? So like I said, this is all about that next step and getting players in that are going to be able to compete with our first team players that are young, and maybe even some that can take over that number 1 spot. And that is what is going to happen with Martin van der Voort. This guy is fantastic. From KRC Genk and RB Leipzig just as recently as last season. He looks fantastic. 24 years of age, big old keeper, Belgium international as well, very consistent, loves a big match, just 24 years of age as a one-on-one. As a goalkeeper is fantastic with 17 one-on-ones as well. Is a really good goalkeeper, and if we compare him to Sam Johnston, is certainly an upgrade. If I can click it, that is anyway. Certainly an upgrade, much better in pretty much everything, and is certainly going to help us out. Simulation-wise, goalkeepers are massive for things like this, so hopefully we can get bits out of Martin van der Voort. Mika Marma was a player I signed as well. He looks very, very good, very consistent, but doesn't have a work permit, and I don't know why it went through. When I do my transfers, I simulate, on holiday, and then the transfers get done. Did get a work permit, and we still signed him. Luckily, very cheap at 5.75 million, but has no work permit, which is a bit frustrating. So we're going to try and sort that out this season. Mika Marmo hopefully can come into the team in the next few years. Whereas the next one, Elias Ben Sagir, £22 million is very, very expensive, but this guy looks like an absolute starlet in real life for AS Monaco. Looks absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable agility, determination, very consistent, very good on the ball as well. Great technique, vision, passing, off the ball work, and at just 21 years of age is hopefully going to develop into a very good player for us. You can see I'm sort of keeping that French connection running through the team, but someone who's certainly not French and is actually of Mexican variety is Santiago Jimenez. This guy is from Feyenoord and scored 30 goals in 54 games there in just 3 seasons, and for us hopefully he's going to be fantastic as well. Having him and Mateta as our 2 strikers, rotation-wise, if one gets injured, we have got a bagsman ready to play. 16 off the ball, 16 work rate, 16 finishing, consistent, loves a big match, moves into channels, tries first-time shots, and as we've got low crosses on, that is vital. 19 caps, 12 goals for Mexico as well. He's on big money on 135k a week, but strikers always are, and he's hopefully going to be massive for us. And the last man signed from Milan, I believe he's at Union Saint-Gilloise in real life, is Noah Sadiki, Belgium international, 21 years of age, very good pace, very good defensively, very good on the ball as well. Can play right back, can play centre back, can play right mid, can play DM, which is where we're signing for, and because he can play in those positions, he's very, very well rounded. So a great young player to have in the side, and our team is now looking like so. Van der Voort in goal. Again, I've made a few little tweaks, so feel free to pause if you want to copy the tactic. Richards is the wing back at the right back, Mitchell, Gurhi and Marmo I did have in the first team, but obviously doesn't end up playing. Taliso and Decore in DM, Jonathan David at right wing, Moliero at left wing, Eze and Cam, Mateta up front, with Johnston and backup goalkeeper, Ferguson as the backup right back, Anderson, Ratnick and Ben Davies are backup defenders, Akmada and Sadiki as the 2 backup midfielders, Palestri, Ben Sagir, Ekatike and Santiago Jimenez as the backups. And in terms of players going out on loan, Matthias Frank has gone to Blackburn, Ozo, Williams and Fabiano have gone out on loan. Fabiano's at Wickham, so we'll see if he can do much. He apparently got a work permit for Wickham, but not for us, which is very helpful. So we'll see what he can do out there. And again, Malcolm Obiwari, we'll see what he can do in the under-21s. He's now 22 years of age, so might play. But I think I accepted these loans actually, so he might be going out on loan. We'll see if he can develop a little bit more as well. But season 3 is the year I'm looking to step up. I'm looking to make the Conference League, the Europa League, probably not top 4, but sort of lower European places. Will be fantastic this season. Maybe even a cup run as well to hopefully lift us our first major trophy. So let's get into it. Crystal Palace season 3. And I mentioned we wanted a cup run for this season, and that's exactly what we've got. But sadly, not lifting a Carabao Cup. Losing 3-1 to Brentford in the final is very, very annoying. Berriese scored a penalty for us to make it 2-1 at the time. Ivan Toney, Brian Mbuemo and Daniel Marlon, which is a very exciting front three for Brentford, beat us 3-1 in this game. Bit frustrating because that feels like one we could have won and might be our only chance as we go forward. But Brentford, very good side, beating us on the day. So fair enough to them. An FA Cup, we were third rounded by Notts Forest, which again is a little bit frustrating. Knocked out on penalties. Again, hopefully can do better in these as we go forward in the years. But the Premier League is where all things matter, and what it comes down to is, did we get into European football? We actually ended up doing it just about. 55 points, sneaking into 8th place by the skin of our teeth. Getting Europa Conference League. And anyone that argues is the Europa Conference League even a European football? Yes, look at West Ham last season. Their night in Europe, they would have done anything to have that again. And I'm sure fans of Crystal Palace, if you got it your way, you would have that as well. So Europa Conference League is where we'll be next season. -2 goal difference is a little bit worrying. Maybe something to have a look at in the defence. And we actually do look into the squad and who was very good for us this season. Santiago Jimenez, 20 goals and 4 assists. Eze, 15 and 7. Jonathan David, 13 and 9. Moliero, 4 and 4. Mateta took a much more backseat this season, just 4 and 1. Decore, 4 and 2. Sagir, 3 and 4. Ekatike, 3 and 7. Palestri playing more games, 2 and 2. Data hub wise is the exact same, but like I said, conceding too many goals. So maybe something to look at in the back line. If we do look at the team itself, I mean, maybe Anderson needs to be improved just a tad. Defensively, Holding and Ratnick aren't getting much game time, so maybe a better centre-back for Anderson. I do like Chris Richards a lot, so I'll probably end up keeping him. Maybe a better DM now that Tolisso is now just developing as a 2.5-star player. Only played 20 games this season, which means Ahmada and Siddiqui play too many games and they're meant to be backups. So maybe a better DM. The front four, again, I'm very excited by Jimenez, Moliero, Eze and Jonathan David. So we'll have to see if we can improve. Money-wise, we have got £68 million. Obviously, the first time Palace being in Europe, that is to be expected, giving us big money, but we haven't got the trophy yet that we so dearly want. Never won a big trophy before. It'll be great to get that through. Out on the loans, Fabiano doing quite well, 2 goals, 1 assist, not doing very well at all actually. Franca did quite well for Blackburn, over 3 goals and 7 assists, and I believe Blackburn are playing in the Championship at 15th place, so he's done okay in the Championship. And Ebuwawe as well, 5 goals and 3 assists, a 6.99 average rating. Maybe he can come up into the first team for this season. We'll have a little look, see what transfers we can go ahead and make. Some steps up to be made though, because now we're in Europe, we need to make that next step with the squad. We need to stay in Europe, we need to keep improving, and hopefully we can lift some trophies. So season 4, let's go and get some very good players, but also some wonder kids to help out as well. So with European football, I thought it was only right to go to the biggest club in the world, at Manchester United, and pick off their wonder kid player, who I am very excited about as a United fan, and as everyone should be as an England fan as well. Kobbie Mainoo, this guy looks unbelievable in real life, and picked up for just £30 million. 16 composure, 16 determination, great passing, decent enough defensively as well. He's a very good composed player on the ball, and I think is going to be perfect for this DM role. Rotating in with Corentin Tolisso, £29 million, like I mentioned. Kobbie Mainoo is in as our brand new DM, and a player that has moved from Wolves to Everton in our save is Pedro Neto. Now this guy again is fantastic, is the bright spark of Wolves whenever you watch them. 17 dribbling, 16 flair, great finishing, great pace, great passing vision and technique as well. And Pedro Neto is going to be the man to help us out. Very consistent player, loves a big match, 27 years of age, so one on the older side of things, and for £30 million is going to have to make a big impact right away to be worth that money. We've signed a brand new young goalkeeper, Derek from Spain, 19 years of age, looks very good. Again, great determination, big boy as well at 191 centimetres. So Derek, welcome to the club. Thank you for being the backup to Van der Vaart. And Matteo Morey as well, 27 years of age. Again, a step up on the right back back we do have in Chris Richards, who can hopefully now play centre back a bit more as well. Extremely consistent, loves a big match, very well rounded stats, Spanish international, originally at Borussia Dortmund, moved to Sevilla in our save, and looks very, very tidy, very good player. Is injury prone, so we'll have to see if that does crop up too much for us. In terms of outgoings as well, there wasn't too many. I believe Jean-Philippe Mateta left to Leicester for £12.5 million as the big sale, but other than that, not too much going on, to be honest, and the team is looking very, very good. Van der Voort, Richards, Gurhey, Marimol and Mitchell. Marimol must have got a work permit, which is fantastic. Again, I did this a few days ago, so it skips my mind sometimes, but this guy looks great and is now back in the team. Mainu, Decore, Neto, Eze, David and Jimenez. Great first 11 with Derek, Moray, Anderson, Ratnick, Ben Davies, Ahmada, Siddiqui, Ebuwoe, Segir, Moliero and Ekatike in the backups as well. And Ebuwoe, good to get him in the first team. Obviously, a wonder kid in real life. Hopefully can progress now we've got him in the first team as well. Be interesting to see what he can do. European football is here at Palace in the lovely green one, the Europa Conference League. We've also got the FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Premier League. So let's go ahead and see what we can win. Go and see what we can do in the Premier League as well. Hopefully we can lift some trophies. I'm not stopping until we lift some trophies. So let's go. Season 4, trophy time. And for the first time in the club's history, it's time to lift a trophy, and it is a European trophy as well. Now, this competition was extremely easy. I'm going to go through and show you guys some of the results because we played a bunch of pretty much nobodies pretty much the whole time. A hat-trick of assists for Jonathan David, a hat-trick of goals for Santiago Jimenez in this one. You can see the way we play. Long balls out wide, finding Jimenez in the box, and with that, shoots first time. It is very, very helpful for us. Pedro Neto down the right-hand side ended up going in from Alberto Moliero. Probably would have been a penalty anyway, but a 10 rating for Jimenez, a 9.7 for Jonathan David. A dominant display against young boys, and I mean, it was party time in this one. The team that came out on the team pitch as well was Siddiqui and Ahmada in DM, which was quite interesting to see. Ekatike, David, Moliero, Jimenez, Mitchell, Gurhey, Richards, Moray and Van der Voort in goal. Very happy with that result indeed. So it does mean we're qualified for the Europa League already, which is fantastic. In terms of the Carabao Cup, we've got quarterfinals by eventual winners Newcastle. Fair play to them, they wanted to win it, so we can't grumble too much. In the FA Cup, we got knocked out in the third round again to a club which we definitely should be beating in Fulham. 3-0 as well, which is a little bit frustrating. It would have been good to go ahead and win that one. But in the Premier League, we ended up coming 8th again with 60 points and a +9 goal difference, even though we had so many more games with the Europa Conference League. So I'm very happy with how the season went. Santiago Jimenez sneaking in at 3rd in the top goal scorers list behind Osimhen and Haaland, so he's not done too bad there. And Pedro Neto 3rd in assists behind Harvey Elliott and Anthony. So very good from Pedro Neto, very good from Jimenez. But like I said, I do want to show you the games in the Europa Conference League because there was some pretty questionable teams we ended up playing in this one, and some of the results were pretty outrageous. Let me go through from start to finish. We had 5-0, 4-0, 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 5-1, 1-0, 5-0, 4-0, 4-1, 1-0. 5-1. 2-0 was our only defeat the whole time. 4-0 with 2-all, and then 4-0 in the final. We battered the Europa Conference League from start to finish, winning every game other than one. We were already 5-1 up in the quarterfinals. So a very strong showing in Europe here for Crystal Palace is very good to see. So I'm very happy with how this season obviously went. Day hub wise, conceding too many goals again is a little bit of an issue with this formation. So we'll have to have a look if we can tweak that a little bit. 1.76 goals per game. The standout performance for this season, a 7.32 for Santiago Jimenez. 48 goals in 47 starts with 6 assists. Hugo Ekitike had his breakout year as well with 7.22, 19 goals, 7 assists in just 20 starts. Pedro Neto, 13 goals, 26 assists. Jonathan David, 41 games, 18 goals and 15 assists. Eze taking a bit of a back seat, but in the games, orchestrating everything. 11 goals and 9 assists. If you saw the video I done last week on the Arsenal video, we had that very similar thing with Martin Odegaard. Pretty much is the past of the past, and that seems to be what Eze is like in this one. Alberto Moliero with 9 goals and 10 assists as well. Very happy with this season. The board have not given us the most money, with just £25 million to spend. We are just above things in finances as well. So we haven't got the most money. We've certainly done bits to rebuild the club into a better state than it was in. But I would say we are pretty much there in terms of the club. I mean, there's not really too many players I'd really replace. I like the youth we've got on the team. I like the defence. I like the backup defenders. I like the front four. So pretty much now I'm going to go ahead and do what I do for most rebuilds. Sign you guys some unbelievable wonder kids that have developed. So if you guys do pick this up on Patreon, you're going to have fun with a few of these. They are unreal. So let's go ahead and find a few gems and show you season number 5. Right, shiny gem number 1 is Perry Higgins from Barcelona. English wonder kid. Come through the Barcelona Academy as English, which is quite cool to go ahead and see. 16 first touch, great dribbling, great crossing, great flair, 20 agility, and is actually going to be our starting striker because Santiago Jimenez has left us. He has gone to Liverpool for £56 million. He's now worth 173 million, which is very fun. The fact that he come over here, lifted trophies and dipped off to the rubbish side of Merseyside. So thank you, Jimenez. Thank you for your service, to be fair. You got us a trophy and we'll forever be grateful for that. So we'll have to replace him, and it's going to be with that man, Perry Higgins, the wonder kid that we did sign from Barcelona. He looks good enough. 9 finishing worries me ever so slightly, but we'll have to see what he can do over the season. One of my favourite players I've ever seen on this game, Lee Yuhao. This guy's been signed from Borussia Dortmund. Consistent, 20 flair, 16 first touch, 14 finishing, central attack midfielder, 190 centimetres, which means he's about 6'3", decent enough pace as well, 16 technique, gets into the opposition area, moves into channels. This guy is a demon, and over the course of this season, he's going to progress so well as well. So Lee Yuhao from Borussia Dortmund is going to be a very exciting player for you guys to go ahead and use. And as is Bruno Kabiru as well. This guy's a young right wing / striker, very similar to Perry Higgins, 18 determination, 16 stamina, 16 teamwork, decent enough pace, 18 years of age. From West Ham, we've stolen him from another club in London, so happy to get him in. Looks very, very good. And the last player is Adam Asnau, the only player we've signed that's not a regen for this season. This guy starts off at Bayern Munich, I believe, after coming from the Barcelona Academy. Looks very, very good. Good left back, consistent, likes a big match, good in absolutely everything. So we'll see what Adam can do. And it leaves the team looking like so. Now I know it doesn't quite play like this in game. It actually plays. To be fair, no, it pretty much does play like this. So it's Van der Vaart in goal, Richards at right back, Gurhey, Marmol, Mitchell as the back four. Mainly when Decore midfield is very exciting. That is a fantastic sentiment partnership. Neto right wing, David left wing, Eze and Cam, and Ekatike gets a lot of game time down the middle. Now Derek, Morey, Anderson, Ratnick and Anzu is a fantastic backup 5. Akmada and Siddiqui as well. Then Kabiru, Liu Yuhao, Moliero and Higgins is a very good younger 4, and as well as Moliero to sort of back up that good front 4. We've got Eberwewe, Ben Davies and Ben Seguir are still here as well, just in and around the first team. I imagine there's going to be a lot of goals in this team. The Wonder Kids, we're going to see how they do in Season 5 as well. We've obviously got the Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Premier League. Let's see what we can win. We also lifted our first major trophy. Can we go ahead and add to that? Maybe an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup? That would be fantastic. I'm going to start off in a Carabao Cup final where Perry Higgins is going to demolish Arsenal, get a brace, and we're going to end up winning a Carabao Cup 3-1. You can see here Pedro Neto down the left-hand side. Find Higgins in the box. Ball goes through to Hugo Ekatike, and he's going to get in the back of the net. More build-up play. Ekatike, great ball behind to Perry Higgins. That 9 finishing is not 9 finishing. He is an absolute bagsman. Arsenal get one back in the 90th minute to try and spoil our day. Caicedo scoring, ended up at Arsenal finally. Actually ended up coming from Saka, which is a bit weird, but we finally managed to lift a big trophy in the Carabao Cup as well. I'm very happy with this one. We were very competitive over the whole game, and Perry Higgins was fantastic, scoring a brace in a cup final at just 19 years of age. That's what happens when you pluck wonder kids from Barcelona. I mean, he's looked great all season, and so has Hugo Ekatike, because I'm about to show you something pretty wild. West Ham recently won a Europa Conference League, and we done that last season. It's now going to be a West Ham versus Crystal Palace Europa League final, and we're going to go ahead and win this one 3-1 from a Hugo Ekatike hat-trick. Now it goes 1-0 from Yankov, sticking the ball in the back of the net for West Ham. Reguilon at left back for West Ham is going to make a big old error. Ekatike is going to pick that one up and put it in to the bottom corner. In the 90th minute, Eze whips it in. Chabadous gets a header to it. Eze whips it back in. And Ekatike, with that big height of his, gets his hat-trick in a final and shows he is a big game player. Europa League champions, Conference League champions. the next step is obviously to win the Champions League, and that is for you guys to go ahead and do on Patreon. Looking at the squad and looking at how some of these players developed, Ekitike with 37 goals and 5 assists is absolutely fantastic. Had a demon season this season. Is now wanted by Chelsea, City, Spurs. Do you go ahead, sell him for 80 million, or do you keep him as a star boy here at Crystal Palace? Perry Higgins didn't develop his finishing too much, but my God, he looks fantastic. Great season with 28 goals and 4 assists in 39 starts for young Perry Higgins. Ebereeze still here, 13 goals, 9 assists, just looks fantastic. Now 30 years of age, is an absolute baller. Never made his England debut, which is quite weird. Jonathan David, 12 goals and 7 assists, 29 years of age now. Been a stalwart player for us this whole time. 12 goals and 7 assists. Lee Yu Hao, look at this guy and tell me he is not the next big thing. 15 caps for China now, 7 goals, 8 assists in his first season in professional football, first full season anyway. Only played 2 games for Dortmund before moving to us for £20 million. And he looks absolutely fantastic at 190 centimetres tall. He's a big lad, great determination, great decision making, great flair, great passing, great technique. He looks absolutely superb. Moliero, 6 goals, 9 assists. Pedro Neto, 5 goals, 21 assists. Was fantastic. Kobe Mainu as well. I've never seen him turn out this well on FM. He looks unbelievable. I imagine next FM he's going to get a big upgrade. Very excited to see what he is like for the next game. And any more Wonder Kids I signed? I don't believe so, that I've not gone through. Development Centre, you've got a few players now starting to come through. They look okay, but probably not going to be good enough for you. Liam Winton looks alright. 16 finishing, 16 first touch, 16 flair, 17 technique. But maybe that's a big thing to improve again. Try and get these training facilities and youth facilities up. In the Premier League, I didn't actually show you. Ended up coming in 11th with 53 points. A lot more games this season again in the Europa League, but very happy the fact we're still coming mid-table, still doing bits. Can you end that Liverpool spell of dominance? 3 wins in a row for them. Now, I'm actually on holiday this week, so this video was recorded over a week ago, so I'm not sure how the results went on the weekend, but I do know FIFA come out on Friday, and you would have seen quite a few FIFA videos coming out over the last few days. If you have enjoyed them, go ahead and watch them. Right down here is going to be, hopefully, Player Career Mode Episode 1 for you guys to go ahead and watch. I hope you do enjoy that content as well, because I certainly enjoy making it. More FM coming at this weekend. We've got a Chelsea guide coming up, but without further ado, go straight into FIFA content and enjoy some of that.